Hello, welcome to the Educational Publishing Awards Australia 2020. My name's Michael Gordon-Smith. I'm the Chief Executive of the Australian Publishers Association. We should be together in Melbourne, but I'm here stuck at the office in Sydney. These awards, the EPAAs, celebrate excellence in the work of educational and scholarly publishers. And like so much else, including educational and scholarly work, they're still happening, but happening online. Whenever and wherever you're watching, whether you're at home or at work, part of a Zoom party or watching alone on your phone, thanks for joining us. As usual, we'll be announcing award winners, but we've also sprinkled some interesting bits throughout the show to get you to stay watching even after you've won your own award. And remember, please, amp up the conversation across the socials. If you're sitting comfortably, then let's begin the show.
Nara, my name's Brianna and I'm a proud descendant of the Dulla people. I identify as a Kabi woman of mixed ancestry and I'd like to welcome you to my country. We're here on the Sunshine Coast and behind me you can see Mount Coolum and Majimba Island. They're significant pieces of our history as our dreaming stories tell us about our roles and responsibilities in community. And I guess it's important to point out that for us, a big part of our roles and responsibilities to the collective is the education of the next generation. So coming together for the Educational Publishing Awards, I feel very privileged today to be invited to welcome you all and acknowledge the ancestors and the spirits that are embedded in the landscape from all the communities that you're tuning in from today. It's really exciting to see in the nominations this year more and more First Nations voices, and I encourage you to keep with that theme and keep challenging yourself. But we're all winners here today, and thank you for coming, and good luck.
Hi, and welcome to the 27th Educational Publishing Awards Australia, and for the very first time delivered virtually. My name is Lee Walker and I am the President of the Australian Publishers Association and Director of Publishing, Editorial and Design at Oxford University Press. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I meet with you today, the Yalukut clan of the Bunwurrung, and paying our respects to their elders past and present. 2020 has been a year like no other. The education sector has been really challenged with school closures and reopenings and then closures again. And so virtual learning has been all-consuming for students and teachers around Australia and for parents too. Teachers have courageously stepped up, radically changing delivery of learning, and we loudly applaud them for all their incredible work and for their stamina. I couldn't be more proud of the excellent service and range of resources that educational publishers have provided to the education community during this pandemic, and this is what I want to especially celebrate today. The educational publishing community has been, fortunately, very well placed to respond to the teaching and learning needs that the COVID-19 crisis has created. For at least the past decade, educational publishers have been innovating constantly, employing the latest digital technologies to deliver the very best content to schools. In fact, we do it really, really well. And during the pandemic, we have accelerated new development and delivery options to continue to ensure that students and teachers have everything they need, wherever the learning might be happening. Congratulations to you all for your incredible efforts and for your creative outputs. I'm sure that, like me, you have never worked so hard. Sincere thanks to our Chief Judge, Angela Carbone, Associate Dean, Learning Innovation at Swinburne University, and thank you to this year's Educator and Publishing Judges for contributing your time and expertise in choosing the shortlist and ultimate winners across all sectors, primary, secondary and tertiary. On behalf of the EPAA and all its members, we'd like to thank EPA sponsors NewGen KnowledgeWorks and Learnosity. And we'd also like to thank our major sponsor, the Copyright Agency, and all the work they continue to do on behalf of Australian creators. Thank you very much and enjoy the show.
Australia has a diverse and vibrant educational publishing landscape. At a school level, educational authors, editors and publishers create resources which assist teachers to spark students' interest in learning and help them to understand and interact with the Australian curriculum. More recently, technology has become critical in providing access to learning. In Australia, schools supporting nearly 4 million students have been required to quickly move to alternative delivery models, virtual schools, and to embrace distance and digital learning. While face-to-face teaching is the ideal, digital learning resources and platforms created by Australia's educational publishers are playing an important role in helping our teachers to personalise learning experiences through their dynamic and interactive features. Thanks to all our education publishers for the role you have played in helping schools, universities and tertiary institutions to continue to deliver a world-class education to students in these challenging times. And congratulations to today's outstanding award winners.
Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Professor Angela Carbone, the Dean of Learning Innovation at Swinburne University of Technology and the Chief Judge for the 27th Annual Educational Publishing Awards. Before I start, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land. I live in Carnegie, Melbourne, on the traditional land of the Wurundjeri people. But wherever we are, I pay my respects to the elders, both past, present and future. I also pay my respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of Australia, and hope that the path towards reconciliation continues to be shared and embraced. Tonight we are here under very unusual circumstances due to COVID-19. I'm in Melbourne, Victoria, and we are currently in stage 4 lockdown until the 13th of September. But we are united virtually to celebrate the commitment and dedication of our publishing innovators who are striving to create engaging learning resources. Never has there been a time like the present when so many educators have spent so much time rethinking their pedagogy. Educators have been forced to dramatically rethink how they work and genuinely engage in new forms of online delivery, technologies and resources to support their students' learning. Many have had to move to teach online. Classrooms have been reinvented, technology affordances have been embraced, laboratories and tutorials have been redesigned for asynchronous delivery and assessment rethought, and these changes have been reflected in the EPA award entries. This year we had 90 entries, 31 in the primary category, 31 in the secondary category, 28 in the tertiary and vet category. Although these numbers were slightly down from last year, we had 147 last year entries that were submitted, the quality still remained high. We had 21 judges who evaluated the entries across a variety of disciplines and subcategories. This year we ran the final judging day as 3 online Zoom meetings. As judges, we assessed the entries against the following 5 criteria: publishing contribution, educational rigour, relevance, cohesion and suitability, flexibility and adaptability, and clarity, design and engagement. There were 3 distinct stages to the judging process for each category. Stage 1 involved the individual judging stage. All the judges individually reviewed the submissions online within 2 weeks. They assessed the entries based on the judging criteria that I just mentioned and entered their score into an online assessment system. Stage 2 involved the group moderation stage. This is where all the judges came together over Zoom to determine the short list and the best entries in their subcategory. During the moderation process, each judge shared and reflected their ratings. They outlined their rationale behind the evaluation and they were allowed to change their assessment. Collectively, they shortlisted the entries and decided on a winner in that category. In cases where it was extremely difficult to decide on a winner, and there were many of these, we recognised the close second entry with highly commended. The final stage was selecting the overall winner for the category. The judges reviewed the top entries across their subcategories and together decided on an overall winner for that category. Finally, I would like to thank the judges. Our judges have devoted a considerable amount of time to make considered, tough and often difficult decisions. I would like to thank those judges for their contribution in assessing the educational publishing entries for awards this year. Without their continued commitment, dedication and passion, a celebration like this would not be possible, even if we are connected remotely. To the publishing community, I trust you will continue to develop new, creative and innovative resources to support teachers in their journey to improve the educational experience of their students. I look forward to being part of the judging process next year. Enjoy the rest of your evening at home as we continue to celebrate the award-winning entries. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your night.
Student resource, arts, science, humanities, social sciences, technology, health and physical education, languages. There's a highly commended resource for this category, Playing with Collage by Jeannie Baker, published by Walker Books. And the winner is Our Land, Our Stories, published by Cengage Australia, partnered with the Australian Institute of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Studies. Judges said Our Land, Our Stories effectively addresses a number of learning areas, especially the cross-curriculum priority of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures. Student resource, English, literacy, literature, language. Highly commended for this category is PM Benchmark Literacy Assessment 1 by Annette Smith, Jill McDougall, Debbie Croft et al. Published by Nelson, a Cengage company. The winner is Effective Spelling by Christine Terpfer, Emma Warren and Bethany Wilnow. Published by Nelson, a Cengage company. Judges said effective spelling provides a consistent framework based on sound pedagogy with a clear structure that supports engagement from both teachers and students. Student resource, mathematics, numeracy. The winner is Oxford Maths for Australian Schools, Student Dashboards Years 3 to 6 by Annie Facchinetti and Brian Murray, published by Oxford University Press Australia and New Zealand. Judges said that the winning resource promotes differentiated, personalised learning to engage students at their point of need. Teaching resource. And the winner is Design and Technologies, Project-Based Learning from RIC Publications. Judges said this resource uses 21st century learning techniques to introduce students and teachers to project-based learning through a consistent methodology across year levels. Reference resource. And the winner is Teaching with Intent 2, Literature-Based Literacy Teaching and Learning by Dr. Bronwyn Parkin and Dr. Helen Harper, published by the Primary English Teaching Association Australia. Judges said that Teaching with Intent 2 is a clear and cohesive resource which demonstrates originality in its inclusivity for marginalised students and addressing the range of literacy levels within a class. Educational picture or chapter book. There is a highly commended book in this category. Willem by Auntie Joy Murphy, Andrew Kelly and Lisa Kennedy, published by Walker Books Australia. And the winner is Love Your Body by Jessica Sanders, published by 5 Mile. Judges said Love Your Body takes a head-on approach to well-being and body image that is representative of society.
So, welcome back. When we told people that we were going to run these awards online, one of our committee members said, well, at least we'll be able to get a drink. We've done some research. We can't find one called Learning Resource, but we can find a drink called Teacher's Pet. For this you'll need blended whiskey, dry vermouth, sweet vermouth and bitters. Of course, if you haven't got them, just use anything else in your cupboard that has a similar colour or a similar label. Start with 45 ml of blended whiskey. Next, 15 ml of dry vermouth. Add a little teaspoon of sweet vermouth. Put in a dash or 2 dashes of bitters, garnish it with a slice of orange, and add some ice. And there it is. If you'd prefer a non-alcoholic refreshment, we don't want you to be left out. We don't know what this one's called, but it's green, so it'll match your award. You need limes, mint, passion fruit juice, and sugar. Take a big glass, put in it the lime wedges, mint leaves, and a generous splash of passion fruit juice. Drop in a teaspoonful of raw sugar. Muddle it, that's a technical term, don't mix it or stir it, muddle, and add ice all the way to the top of the glass. Fill the whole thing with something fizzy, and there you go. Cheers. Back to the serious business.
Hello, my name's Jane Doyle, and at present I am the Teaching and Learning Coordinator for Kindergarten to Year 2 at Dominic College, which is in Glenorchy in Hobart, Tasmania. My initial reaction when I was asked last year if I would like to speak to the awards was one of horror at best and a bit of trepidation, because I was worried about what I would have what I would be able to talk about that you would want to listen to. Obviously, I've had some time to think about this during the last 18 months, and I've realised that I actually have that I have a lot to thank you for, because one of my earliest memories as a graduate teacher was using a Gestetner. So obviously now that everything comes as a blackline master or in a focused book from you, makes my life easier. So I personally thank you for everything that you've done in the last 33 years to make my teaching life a lot easier. Another reason I was a bit anxious was because I have very strong views about levelled readers and textbooks with year levels on them. And I was wondering whether that would be something that I could discuss with you. And I realised that I've come a long way in my thinking, and that perhaps this conversation that we're having at the moment will be the start of revision of our levelled home readers or classroom readers and textbooks that we use as well. In the middle of the 1980s, when I first started teaching in prep, which is the first full year of teaching in schooling in Tasmania, we had a very small basic collection of readers. The Sunshine collection, or Sunshine books, rings a bell. And using these books, we managed to have every child learn to read by the end of prep. We supplemented this with them making their own stories and their own books, so they basically became self-publishers at the age of 5. I'm just wondering what's changed. Why is Why do we have so many children now in our classrooms who don't know how to read and who find it really difficult to actually maintain the stamina to learn to read? Something to think about, I think. I guess with the development of a national curriculum, our school policies regarding curriculum and technology, obviously it should be easier for us to have our children learn to read, and definitely learning to read by the time they leave prep, because for most children this is their second year at school and they have been exposed to a lot of wonderful language, a lot of wonderful books, a lot of wonderful teaching strategies by amazing teachers. As a parent of boys, I learnt early that interest-based reading is vital to a child learning to read, particularly a boy. I have a younger son who was completely obsessed with soccer. He got us to the newsagents one day and found an English soccer magazine, and so he insisted that we purchase this for him whenever it came out. So we had a standing order for it. And every week that he got it, he would sit and he'd read from front to back. He'd know all the players, he'd know all of the statistics, and we quickly realised that this was an interest that would help him develop his love of reading. I think that's the most important thing that we can give our children, is a love of reading and a strategy using their their interests and their focus really helps them want to learn and continue to learn to read. And read for enjoyment, which I think is really vital. With my son, he actually ended up in Year 4 taking the World Encyclopedia of Soccer, which was 1,008 pages from every country and continent in the world, to school, because he wanted to read that when they had quiet reading, when they had opportunities during the day to read, but also so he could read it to his teacher as his reading book. I got a message. Could I go and meet the teacher because it wasn't deemed as appropriate reading material for a Year 4 child? I did actually argue quite vehemently about it because he spent hours reading this story. He's 27 now and he can still tell me some of the parts of it because he just loved it. I think there was a big lesson for me in that, and part of the reason why I've become so passionate about children learning to read. I think it's really vital that the content that we provide helps them and helps them stay excited about reading. During COVID, we've had lots of different experiences at school, and one of the most amazing ones that I had was one of my little 4-year-olds, Riley. She came to school after spending about 8 weeks at home with mum and dad, and an only child at the moment, about to have a new baby brother or sister. But she came to school one day and said, "Hey, Mrs. Doyle, I can read." And I sort of went, "Oh, yeah, okay." So we have a daily message. And I said to Riley, "Hey, Riley, come and read this for me." I'd written the message after her parents had left, so I knew they hadn't been able to tell her. And we're sitting there, and all of a sudden she said to me, "Oh, it says, 'Good morning, Kinder Tumanana. Today is Thursday. Is it cold outside? Is it wet outside?'" And of course, I just stood there and thought, it's a bit of a fluke. So I popped up another message and videoed her. And then I asked her to answer it, and was really amazed to watch her as she used the language, the words that were in the message, to make her answer.
Good morning, Today is Thursday. Is it wet today? I know.
It. We need to make the connection between reading, writing and spelling so explicit these days for our children so that they can read. I think it's vital that the reading content that we have in our classrooms supports that as well. I think there are lots of ways a classroom teacher and the EPAA can actually get together and determine appropriate content for any book that is used in a classroom. I know many of you are out there searching for that, and it's vital that we continue that search. I think as a community of teachers and of publishers, we can develop these really amazing books, amazing support for the delivery of content in our classrooms, because this helps our students. I'm continually thinking and wondering why, with the developments, the advancements in everything, in technology, in curriculum, in dynamic classrooms and settings that we have, why our children aren't reading. What is it that stops them? And I guess that's something that I will continue to ponder and will really make me continue to look at what is being produced by you to see if it supports the children in my room. I think it's really important that we have lots of variety of styles of books, so reading cards. I did horrify half the staff here the other day when I suggested SRA cards, those of you that are old enough to remember those, but they had their purpose because they included comprehension in them as well. I guess there's lots that we can actually probably continue to talk about, but I think the main focus for me is ensuring that this conversation that we're having starts to move forward into the types of books that you forward to us as classroom readers and as introductions to reading for our youngest readers. I think it's vital that we continue to do those, to have this partnership, and I look forward to developing it further with you.
In support of home learning, PLD released 3 weeks of downloadable material along with accompanying parent education videos. But internally in PLD, we utilise this period to mobilise and digitise our core programs.
We've been able to provide offline access to our ebook platform.
Adapted versions of our learning materials like storybook lessons that parents could deliver at home with their kids rather than doing them at school, as well as instructional videos on important concepts like phoneme and grapheme pronunciation that parents aren't necessarily as familiar with as teachers are.
We at Jacaranda were able to provide our online courses for free for teachers and students so that they could stay connected virtually, and teachers could assign work and could keep an eye on what was going on through tracking, monitoring and reporting and so on. And students were able to get feedback at the point of learning.
Say there may be only one computer in a family of four students. So there's things like that we've also tried to think about and take into account.
And one of the challenges, I guess, for us was that our resources are directed at the teacher, not at the student. So how we almost direct stuff to the teacher that helps them help the parents, help the student.
What happens at school is now more evident to parents, and the positive flow-ons from that are that the respect for the teacher and for the hard work and care that the teacher puts into their learning plans is really evident, I think, to a lot more parents, perhaps than it was before. And so for educational publishers, our role in that is to make that professionalism of learning really evident. When parents see their kids getting excited about writing and realise it's coming from teachers and from schools, and it's something that we've quietly facilitated behind the scenes and made so much easier if we've got it right.
Student Resource, Junior, English, Humanities, Languages, Arts, Technologies, Health and Physical Education. Highly commended in this category is Welcome to Country Youth Edition by Marcia Langton, published by Hardy Grant Travel. And the winner is Jacaranda Humanities Alive 7 to 10 series for the Victorian Curriculum 2E, Print and Learn On by Robert Darlington et al., published by Jacaranda. Judges said that this resource is extremely accessible with clear language and a comprehensive and well-integrated digital offering. Student Resource, Junior, Mathematics, Science. The highly commended resource in this category is Good Science by Emma Craven, Rebecca Cashmere, Harris Harbus et al., published by Matilda Education. And the winner is Cambridge Science for the Victorian Curriculum by Victoria Shaw, Kerry Ardley, Eddie de Young et al., published by Cambridge University Press. Judges said that Cambridge Science for the Victorian Curriculum is fresh, clean and easy to use, with a colourful and engaging design and seamless integration of digital and print product. Student Resource, Senior, Mathematics Science. Highly commended is Nelson Q. Matz, 12 Essential Mathematics by Sue Thompson and Judy Binns, published by Nelson, a Cengage company. And the winner is Jacaranda VCE Chemistry 1, Units 1 and 2, 2E, plus Study On, and Jacaranda VCE Chemistry Units 3 and 4, 2E, plus Study On by Neil Taylor, Angela Stubbs, Robert Stokes et al., published by Jacaranda. Judges said that this resource seamlessly integrated print and digital resources with a considered use of technology that set it apart. Student Resource, Senior, English, Humanities, Languages, Arts, Technologies, Health and Physical Education. Highly commended is Jacaranda Key Concepts in VCE, Health and Human Development 6E by Andrew Beaumont, Meredith Fedling et al., published by Jacaranda. And the winner is Analysing and Presenting Arguments, Units 1 to 4, Student Book plus O-Book Assess. Analysing and Presenting Arguments, Units 1 to 4, Student O-Book Assess. Analysing and Presenting Arguments, Units 1 to 4, Teacher O-Book Assess by Ryan Johnston, published by Oxford University Press Australia and New Zealand. Judges said that this resource is a complete hybrid resource with a user-friendly design and clearly expressed content. Teaching Resource. The winner is Creating Microstories, Small Fiction with Big Impact by Erica Boas and Emma Jenkins, published by Australian Association for the Teaching of English. Judges said that the winning resource is an excellent teacher resource underpinned by key theoretical understandings and methods of teaching creative writing. Reference Resource. There is a highly commended resource in this category. Macmillan Global Atlas for Australian Students, 5th edition, Student Book plus Digital, by Rob Berry, Lorraine Chaffer and Katrina Spencer, published by Matilda Education Australia. And the winner is The Australian Students Oxford Dictionary by Mark Gwynn, published by Oxford University Press Australia and New Zealand. Judges said that this is an excellent resource reference that could be used by students in any subject.
Hi everyone, it's an absolute honour for me to be joining here with you today. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which I am speaking to you from today, the Darug of Western Sydney, and extend that acknowledgement to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander communities all across Australia, as I know that we're all joining from different parts of our country today. It's an absolute honour, as I mentioned before, to be here with you. And I guess the opportunity for me to be able to speak with you this evening has come from being a finalist in the Global Teacher Prize last year. I had an amazing opportunity to go to Dubai for the ceremony, which was hosted by Hugh Jackman, and have an amazing part to play in the Global Education Skills Forum, where the top 10 had a chance to showcase their teaching or part of their work for why they were there. And I chose critical and creative thinking, and how I had worked with staff at Reedy Hill High School with that and with my own students. And we also were able to meet educators from all around the world and participate in a Global Teacher Ambassador program. Now, being in Dubai very much reminded me of Australia because of the diversity of cultures that were there. And that's the theme that I would like to speak in this short moment that I have with you all today. I will never forget the moment when I was a very young new teacher And I had a student say to me, "This is so boring, it's not my story, why should I care?" And it was in the context of learning about world wars and Australia's involvement in Anzac. And as much as the student's comment dumbfounded me, I couldn't help but pause and think and relate to that same comment. Being someone who was not born in Australia, I have adopted the very stories and histories and loved learning about Australian history as the country where my parents chose to immigrate. And I was only a young baby when I arrived. But that really crucial moment for me that stuck me in my early years of teaching have never gone away, and taught me to make sure that I know exactly the backgrounds and needs of my students and looking for ways that I can engage them with resources, and also the way that we complement resources like those that are published to give students opportunities to learn about themselves and to learn about each other. One of the most successful assessment tasks that I've had feedback on from students was from my Year 10 elective history class, where I asked them to design an exhibit for a Hellonian museum, a take on the Smithsonian, after I had just the lucky opportunity to have visited there that summer. And they were encouraged to choose to put forward a proposal for any history and to justify why that should be included in this museum. And this brings me to the heart of what we all do as educators, and working together with you as publishers. I thank you for your work in being able to update and adapt and be able to support us as educators in being able to meet the needs of our students, which is increasingly diverse, not in terms of just culture and religion, but in terms of gender, identities, rural locations, and being able to understand that everybody has a place in Australia. So thinking of that particular student yet again, I was reminded about my own histories in Sri Lanka and how I have taken an ongoing journey to be able to learn more about it. So for my own students, I learnt that I had to model what those untold stories looked like. And this became really more apparent when I had the chance to go to Sri Lanka in 2014 for the second time with my mother, mother-in-law, and my husband soon after we got married in 2013. We went to visit the Jaffna Library in Sri Lanka's north, which was the heartland of Tamil culture, artifacts, scrolls that had been kept for time beyond memory, and unfortunately was a site of complete destroyal in 1981 when the library was burnt down by extremists. Going back and seeing the way that my mum reacted, and my mother-in-law, who herself is a librarian, was a really moving moment for me, and for me too, trying to process just what had happened at that very place where irreplaceable documents could never be replaced. It made me realize that in history, there are things that we have physically lost, but then there are other stories that we are still yearning to find and to uncover. There's different traditions in storytelling, and there's all ways that we need to be able to seek out and respond to be able to meet the needs of the culturally diverse linguistic students that make up Australia today. And so this is where I'm looking forward to being able to continue to work together, and thank you for the work that you do to be able to promote diversity in everything going forward.
It's very different to the industry I joined 12 years ago. I think though the change that will happen is that there'll be more digital first.
Obviously a lot more digital.
We anticipate that digital content will eventually overtake print-based materials.
Remote learning in 2020 will probably accelerate that change.
There's a great allure to lean very heavily into what digital technology can accomplish for us, and I think that's a big part of it. But I also think, it's very important as publishers that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that there is still very much a place for, material and handwriting and all different kinds of interactions.
The disruption has happened very suddenly for teachers and students, though probably for teachers who maybe were a little bit reluctant to embrace new ways of teaching and learning. Data-driven insights, for example, into student learning, they might not have used those in the past.
And if we can deliver the right educational resources and materials into the hands of those vulnerable populations, we're confident that a real social benefit can be achieved there.
We've got to really engage the students, and we've really got to get them sort of ping-ponging ideas back and forth and get them really excited about writing. The first step is to get them excited.
I don't think the answer to this question is about digital versus print publishing. I think it's about us keeping a laser-like focus on the education gap, which is apparent in every single classroom in Australia. So the future of our industry is about us all raising the bar, about us doing more and doing better.
Tertiary, Wholly Australian Teaching and Learning, Print. And the winner is Integrated Marketing Communication by Max Winchester, Peter Ling, Lara Stocky et al., published by Oxford University Press, Australia and New Zealand. Judges said that this bright and highly engaging print resource is topical and relevant to Australia and the Pacific. It shows innovation in teaching this subject matter. Tertiary, Wholly Australian Teaching and Learning, Blended Learning. And the winner is Financial Accounting, 9th edition, by Craig Deegan, published by McGraw-Hill. Judges found this resource to be comprehensive and student-focused, rich in worked examples and student questions, with an adaptive functionality that uses 21st century learning techniques well. Tertiary, Wholly Australian Teaching and Learning, Digital Only. And the winner is Study Ready Orientation by Chris Swan, Naomi Holding and Kathy McInnes, published by La Trobe University in partnership with Didasco. Judges found this resource raises the bar of excellence for students preparing to commence tertiary studies. This is a beautifully designed online resource and shows an innovative approach to student orientation. Tertiary Adaptations, Teaching and Learning, Print or Blended Learning. And the winner is Health Assessment and Physical Examination 3E with MindTap by Pauline Kalija, Karen Theobald, Teresa Harvey et al., published by Cengage. Judges said this resource is a highly impressive suite of resources that implements a clear pedagogy and structure and demonstrates clear connections to the Australian context. Content has been carefully scaffolded to make it approachable and easy to read and navigate. Tertiary Adaptations, Teaching and Learning, Digital Only. And the winner is MindTap for Understanding Nutrition, 4th edition, by Ellie Whitney, Tim Crow, Adam Walsh et al., published by Cengage. Judges said this resource features strong learning outcomes and an extensive suite of educator support material. It breaks down sections of content and regular opportunities for assessment and engagement.
VET, Teaching and Learning, Print or Blended Learning. And the winner is Supporting Education 3E with MindTap by Karen Kearns, published by Cengage. Judges found this resource to be a comprehensive, highly engaging, holistically designed resource that addresses the Certificate 3 in education support and treats sensitive subject matters with the appropriate respect and tone. VET, Teaching and Learning, Digital Only. And the winner is Honey, Harvesting and Extracting by Tokal College, New South Wales Department of Primary Industries. Judges said this resource is detailed and highly engaging. It's intuitive and uses a tutorial style with videos, animations, interactive activities, and direct links to external resources.
Scholarly, Non-Fiction Book of the Year. And the winner, Australianama by Samir Khatun, published by University of Queensland Press. Judges said this is an intriguing story that has required in its telling both careful, sustained research and familiarity with diverse and complex cultural traditions and areas of philosophy. Katun and her publishers have skillfully produced and published a work that is unquestionably original, powerful and important.
At last year's DEPAs, the very first Mike Horsley Award was presented and honours Mike's singular vision to promote and celebrate research, innovation and excellence in Australian learning resources. Your career has spanned over 40 years, and in that time you've moved through the ranks as a publisher, general manager and ultimately managing director. Along the way you've been an educator, an author, a visionary, a leader and a mentor. You've pioneered so many great and seminal resources. The Heinemann and Jacaranda Atlases, Humanities Alive, Science Quest, Big Ideas Humanities, I could go on and on. And in all that time, your focus never wavered. You wanted to create high impact, high engagement resources to drive deep student understanding. And if all that weren't enough, you found time to nurture careers, including my own, to ignite passion in your colleagues and to inspire so many. So on behalf of the industry and the APA Tertiary and Schools Committees, I'm delighted to announce that you are the 2020 recipient of the Mike Horsley Award.
Oh,
congratulations!
What a surprise and what an honour knowing Mike for very many years and his sincere passions. It is a real honour and very unexpected. So thank you.
You're very welcome. And you're right. And I think Mike would be delighted as well if he were here that you are exactly the sort of recipient that he would have wanted for this award.
Oh, wonderful! Thank you, and a real honour to have you to break it to me, Melinda, one of my favourite people in the industry who I've enjoyed working with for very many years.
Yes, it was a great privilege for me as well. So, you know, I am actually really personally delighted to be able to announce this to you today. I wish it didn't have to be on Zoom. I wish we could have done it in person, but these are strange times, and so we do the best we can.
Well, indeed, and I think, you know, with COVID-19 at the moment is really bringing educational publishing resources right to the fore, again with people, parents and students and lecturers and teachers just really relying on engaging independent learning resources at home. Must be a tough gig for many. You've got a you're doing the homeschooling at the moment.
Yeah.
No, it's challenging times, but people will be very happy to have the fantastic educational publishing resources in their hands.
Absolutely. It's thrown a real spotlight on the necessity for amazing, engaging content and content that, you know, kids can use independently as well. So it's, yeah, it has been challenging, but for me, I think it's absolutely reminded me of the vital work that we do as educational publishers in making those sorts of resources that help kids be their best and support teachers in being their best as well.
Absolutely. No, it's a fabulous time, and the industry is just so full of so many fabulous people. So I think people will really step up to the challenge.
I think so too.
Thank you, Melinda. Congratulations, Peter. Like Melinda, I'm very sorry we can't do this in person, but we'll make sure that the little trophy makes its way to you.
What an absolute winner. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. A lovely, lovely surprise, and very much appreciated and very humble.
Award, Outstanding Primary. And the winner is Our Land, Our Stories, published by Cengage Australia, partnered with Australian Institute of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Studies. The overall winner of the primary sector was chosen because of its authenticity in the way that it celebrates contemporary Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. It is a unique resource which equips and empowers teachers, enabling them to provide comprehensive and clear learning intentions and protocols, along with clear guidance on approaching the subject matter for each primary level.
Award: Outstanding Secondary. And the winner is Jacaranda VCE Chemistry 1 Units 1 and 2 2E plus Study On, and Jacaranda VCE Chemistry Units 3 and 4 2E plus Study On by Neil Taylor, Angela Stubbs, Robert Stokes et al., published by Jacaranda. The overall winner for the secondary sector was awarded because of its clear and accessible content and its direct alignment of content with the key knowledge and skill requirements of the study design. The high-quality content is supported by an intuitive online platform which supports both teacher-led and individual learning.
Award: Outstanding Tertiary. And the winner is Financial Accounting, 9th edition, by Craig Deegan, published by McGraw-Hill. The judges awarded the overall winner for the tertiary and VET sector due to its comprehensive and memorable suite of resources and its student-focused approach. The personalised content, including videos of the author, provide exceptional resources for both instructors and students.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Adam Suckling and I am CEO of the Copyright Agency. We are really proud to sponsor this award again tonight. It's been a really tough year for publishers, but publishers have risen to the challenge of COVID-19 with real innovation and focus and delivered for their customers. So, this award recognises some of that innovation and some of that focus, and I'm delighted to announce, firstly, the Primary Publisher of the Year. It is, drumroll, PLD.
Oh, wait until the staff know. You're joking. 3 years in a row. Oh, wow. That is the best news, the best news. We are tiny in comparison to big publishers. So, wow, that is amazing, amazing. I was a bit nervous because you actually had more people registered this year and more publishers registered, like multi-lit. And I thought, oh, Macquarie University will take us for sure. So, yeah, wow, really?
Now, I would like to announce the Secondary Publisher of the Year. It is Jacaranda.
Well, we are honoured and thrilled to have won this award. It is an award that voted for by our customers who are using our products. So to us, it's the most special award of all to win. And also it's such a recognition of all of the teams that work so hard at Jacaranda to bring these products to life. From our customer success and our customer service through to our sales and marketing teams and our technology teams and our editorial and publishing teams and all other teams, this is a wonderful recognition of the work that they all do. So I'd like to thank all of our customers for voting for us, and I'd like to thank you very much for this award.
Congratulations to all of the finalists, to all of the winners, and in particular for the announcement of this award, congratulations to PLD and Jacaranda.
So, that's it for the 2020 EPAAs. Thank you for joining us. If you're an educator or an educational publisher, congratulations for just helping people to keep on learning this year. Congratulations, of course, to all the winners. Your trophies are in the mail. And if you've got colleagues who missed your big moment, or you just want to live the excitement one more time, go to the EPAA's website, where the show's available on demand. Special thanks to the school's Educational Publishers Committee, to the EPAA's organising committee and the video production team. And of course, a very big thank you for another year to our major sponsor, the Copyright Agency. On behalf of everyone here at the Australian Publishers Association, we hope you have a fabulous week. We hope you have a fabulous year. See you again in 2021. Stay safe and stay well.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Cheers.
Cheers.